for a really long time. Are you able to, do you still get the wow factor when you're watching, or are you too busy concentrating and taking notes and dissecting it all?
No, I still do get the wow factor. I do really very much enjoy doing fireworks, but I tell you, we actually recently ventured off into something else as well.
Okay.
We started, my company, we started doing drone light shows. So
is that kind of the future? Is that where fireworks are going, or combining the two?
I think, certainly, I don't think we'll ever replace fireworks,
Right.
and I don't want to ever replace fireworks. But drone light shows, our company is called Star Symphony Drone Shows, are really very special, very colourful. There's so much designing and things you can do and create pictures in the sky and messages and branding and things like that. So I like to put them with fireworks.
Yeah.
And the two complement each other really, really well.
Oh, well, we'll have to watch this space in the future then. But right now, of course, we are still very much firmly the British Firework Championships. Yes. So we better go back and see how it all starts. We know what it looks like when it's up in the sky, but some people may not know what it looks like behind the scenes before it's all set off. So Andy and I headed down to take a look yesterday.
Andy, we are here on Mountbatten Breakwater this morning, hours away from the champion of champions at the British Firework Championships. And this is what it looks like before thousands of fireworks are set off. When did the guys get here this morning? How long do the preparations last?
They started at 7 o'clock this morning, and it'll probably take them 12 hours. Some teams are really on it, and they can be done sort of mid-afternoon. Some teams have less fireworks to set up. Some teams have more complex displays. So it can vary, and you can get to that crunch time, which we've seen before in the competition, where competitors are getting close to 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, and it ends up being all hands on deck. Everybody puts in a hand because everybody wants to see the fireworks going off, real team spirit, everybody cooperating. But yeah, they'll aim to have it done by mid-afternoon if they can.
And maybe have a little bit of a relax before seeing what happens in the evening. We've got 3 teams firing on each night, 6 in total. So looking down, the breakwater as we do now, it's a little bit hard, I think, on a layman's eye to differentiate who is who. But for you looking at it, it's quite clear what each team are trying to set up and what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. Different teams will have a different strategy. Some teams may go for sheer volume of fireworks and the number. Other teams may focus on having some really high-class fireworks, like European products, which are a lot more expensive than the Chinese products that a lot of teams will be using. And the thing for us, looking when we do at setting these things up, is trying to sort of see what their strategy is, how it might turn out on the night, but you never know. You could see a team like this one that really has thrown the kitchen sink at it, and they brought so many fireworks, surprised there's anything left in the country for tomorrow night.
Yeah. Or
you could have a team that's got real technical and real precision, but we don't know until we start firing it.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the shells themselves then, Andy, because they've got to be fired out of these tubes, which are all of various different sizes, to accommodate the various different size shells we've got. And you've lucked out, this is one of the biggest ones we're going to be seeing?
Yeah, this is the biggest size that we have down here at Plymouth, and it's because if it was to burst on the ground, the stars need to be able to fall short of any of the buildings or any of the fallout zone that's built around to keep people safe. And 8-inch shells like this one, and this is a lovely Spanish shell, a shell of shells with salute one time. If they were going to fire one of these, it's probably a finale shell. Okay. It's probably one that's going to be really, really special that we'll see towards the end of the show.
This is when we get that huge bang, like a big shower.
Yeah, absolutely. But this one has got 1.6 kilos of powder in it, and just one firework going off. And you look at that, it's about the same size as your head, isn't it? It's really big firework.
That was BBB, who are firing third on night 1. And I have to say, for me personally, looking around, some of the tubes, some of the setups look a bit similar. I'm not able to tell the difference, but I know this is something we haven't yet looked at, which is from Skyburst.
Yeah, these are Roman candles.
Okay.
So this is an actual Roman candle. These ones are made by a company called Europa, a Spanish company. These particular candles have whistles with silver tails. It's a 45mm size. It's a repeater, if you like, so it fires the same effect time after time. And this one in particular has 10 shots. And what we need to look out for with Roman candles is the quality of the candle, because if you've got each of these tubes putting out 10 different shots, what you want is you want them to all fire simultaneously and keep firing simultaneously right from their first shot to their 10th.
Okay.
What you don't want is for them to get the timing lit out and then having a bit of a starting good, nice and even, going up, but then ending up with a mishmash. And what you expect with a high quality product like this is that the timing should be good. We can look out for that tonight when these repeaters are going off.
Let's talk finales then to wrap up. Everyone's got their own style, as we've seen from looking down, but we're kind of used to seeing these huge brocade displays. Is there a surefire way to guarantee a good finale, or is there room for a bit of creativity?
I think you want something that gets bigger and bigger and builds and really takes the audience with it, and then just fills the sky, absolutely fill the sky with fireworks. And most of the teams will do that with a gold effect that we call brocade. We will see brocades throughout all 6 shows, I can guarantee it. They'll add in noise and perhaps some flashing effects and perhaps a little bit of colour. When my team did it all those years ago, we had brocade and blue, which looked beautiful.
Blue's a really hard colour to make as well, isn't it?
It is,
yeah.
Absolutely is. But if you've got a good blue, then use it, absolutely. But we can have strobe and everything. It's impossible to tell what they're going to do from their brocade unless they tell us. And some of the teams have told us what they're doing, so as each show goes through, we can sort of preview what to look out for.
But you're saying the bigger the better for the finale is the way that these teams are going to want to win.
The classic Plymouth brocade finale has won for many teams over the years, so that would be, I think it would be really tough to not choose that if I was competing.
Well, there we have it. Months of preparation, hours of planning here on the breakwater, and it will all come to fruition over the next couple of nights. So join us for the British Firework Championships as they get ready to unfold.
Yeah, there are some big shells out there over on the breakwater, as we saw in that VT. Here's another one here. That's me holding the one that's about the same size as my head. I'm pleased to say this one, not the same size as my head, but it just goes to show the scale of the explosives, the fireworks we've got out there. What's this one, Andy?
That is a 48-inch shell, okay? So that's 4 foot across. And that's an absolutely massive one. You would have to be a really long distance away from that when it goes up.
I don't think we can quite fit that one in on the breakwater for health and safety reasons, can we? But I'm sure it would be interesting to see it go off. Speaking of the breakwater, you, of course, it will be interesting for people to know there are moments where you look like you're concentrating very hard. It's because you're wired in to your man over there on the breakwater. How does that system work?
Yeah, absolutely. As ever, we have our man Anthony Green out on the breakwater. He's in amongst the teams and working alongside the adjudicator Charlotte Winship from the Event Services Association, and he's giving us all the updates and all the gossip so that we can hear about what's going on. And I can tell you the latest update from Anthony is that the King's Harbour Master has given the green light for Team 1 to go ahead. So the King's Harbour Master and the team of water marshals and police, they give the green light to Event Control, who gives the green light to Charlotte on the breakwater.
Yeah, fabulous. Okay, it seems like it's going to plan. Let's hear from our first team then, Cellstar Fireworks, and we'll talk about them afterwards. Here they are.
Hi, I'm Steve Harriott from Cellstar Fireworks. We are the defending champion of champions, looking to retain our title. We have some outstanding effects from Italy, Spain and China, with some points to look out for: smoke shells, some illuminating kaleidoscopes of colour, and a finale which is illuminating.
Keen to point out they are the reigning champion of champions, and rightly so. You'd want to make sure everyone remembers that. 30th anniversary this year, so again, another reason for them to put on a big show.
Yeah, they have really gone to town with this one. They are trying to retain their title, and you know, they will be keeping fingers crossed that their show fires exactly to plan. Of course, they are experts. They've worked internationally. They know how to put on a big display, and that's what they've done for us. There are 2,941 cues in this display. So one cue is one firing, but it could there might be more than one firework attached to a cue. So that's a lot for the firing system. There are 1,471 shells. So those are the big ball-like fireworks like you were holding just then that fire up into the air and burst like a cannonball. There are 1,324 single shots. So those are the fireworks that we saw in the tubes in the little arrays that fan backwards and forwards. They've got barrages, candles, and slices. But there's some really interesting things here in this show. First of all, they're going to start with a technical sequence with coloured single shots, which are going to be creating kaleidoscope patterns. So we all remember a kaleidoscope sometimes when we were a young child looking through that. So they're going to be making kaleidoscope patterns in the sky. They have a carpet of pastel flares on the water.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to be floating fireworks on the water. And for any firework geeks, apparently they have the last remaining Lidu new type colour crossette shells in the country. So everybody will know that that is a beautiful pastel-coloured crossette-style effect up in the sky. So we'll look out for those.
I'm sorry, when you say last remaining, as in once they go off this evening, nobody else has got them in their displays?
That's right. Lidu is a really famous Chinese factory, and they're just not making them anymore.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this could be, a particularly one-off.
Yes.
All right,
and the thing that I think we should all look out for, coloured smoke effects. Coloured smoke effects. You think about that. Smoke is a nighttime thing. This is a nighttime show. How are we going to see the smoke? So how are they going to light up the coloured smoke? Normally you wouldn't see. You'd need to see coloured smoke in the daylight. So I think we need to look out very carefully and see how that works.
I'm sure the people on the Barbican will be very interested to see how the coloured smoke's going to work out after yesterday.
And finally, a sequence of layered red and white strobe. So those are the flashing stars replicating Smeaton's Tower, which is the fantastic lighthouse that we have with us literally 100 yards over there on Plymouth Hove.
I like a little personal touch. That's nice.
Yes, so we've got to look out for all of those. But as I was saying, it requires everything to come together. They will have been designing this show. Cellstar is run by Stephen Harriott and Ian Keatley. Ian Keatley and Stephen have actually both been designing the show as well. They have 15 crew out there putting this display together, and I have no doubt that they've gone right up to the maximum amount of powder that you can put in. If you remember, we have a minimum amount of powder, which is 400 kilos, and this is the amount of explosive powder contained within the fireworks. And we have a maximum amount, 550 kilos, and that keeps it all on an even keel. And as we'll hear tonight, some teams go for the high end, some teams go lower down. I've got no doubt that this team are pumping it with as much as they can, but it's all checked by the adjudicator. There's a technical assessor out there from the fireworks industry. Andy Goodwin is out there to making sure that everything is done fairly, correctly, and safely.
Yeah.
But we've just been given the 2-minute warning.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Shall we have a little bit of a refresher then of the rules before we start? Because you mentioned, all of the weights are being checked. All the displays have to be exactly 10 minutes, or there's a bit of deduction each way, and there's multiple different teams judging, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. They are timing them, and we will see at the start of the display a red shell, then an amber shell, and then a green shell. And the timing starts from that green shell when it fires until the last bit of firework on the display. That needs to be exactly 10 minutes. And if you go over by just a small number of seconds, then there can be penalties applied to it. We've got a whole big panel of judges looking for all different things, and they're actually judging from Tinside Lido, watching across the water. I've been down there this afternoon. There's tables set up with a white tablecloth and lots of seats, and they are literally getting ready to do it. And so they're out of the way of the smoke. Certainly last night, they got a very clear view, as the best view that you could have. So great viewing location.
Yeah, and that lay judges, of course, are looking for things like rhythm, wow factor. Of course, I suppose for anybody who is watching online at home, maybe worth getting the stopwatch out, seeing if you can time it exactly to 10 minutes, and you may have a bit of an insight as to who may end up being the winner. I think we're getting a bit closer now, Andy, aren't we? More 30 seconds away, more or less?
It's got to be something like that, hasn't it? And actually, I just remembered that they do also have some custom-made product that was made just for this competition in this show. Excellent. So I think this is the one to watch, but just to remember that it could be anybody. But here's the countdown.
All right.
8, 7, 6,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cellstar Fireworks. Well, I think it's safe to say that one felt quite special. There were certainly some whoops from off and on stage, in fact. There were so many elements of that, but I think what was really nice is some of the bits that you pointed out, we were actually able to see, particularly the Smeaton's Tower, the stacking of the silver and the red, all the way up. Lovely.
That was breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. That finale right at the end was just incredible, wasn't it? We thought that we weren't going to see Smeaton's Tower, and then suddenly there it was, right in the last 15 seconds, filling the sky. Look for the kaleidoscope coming up in this effect. We're just going to watching the replay here. There it is. Look at the kaleidoscope shapes.
Fantastic.
Absolutely incredible. Really, really strong start there to the competition tonight from Cellstar. We saw beautiful, awesome colours. We saw a load of European material. Very clean show, I thought. It was very smooth. They didn't have any problems. Everything was symmetrical, very balanced. And we're really lucky that with the wind tonight, because the smoke isn't blowing towards the Barbican, and very lucky for the people on the Barbican.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's now going out to sea. Multicolour waterfalls, pastel colours, silver swimming stars, which were really nice. A type that we've not seen yet in the competition. Lots of butterfly effects. I just wrote down in capital letters, extraordinary European material.
Yeah.
Much of it, if not all of it, I'm sure, but probably much of it from Europla Fireworks, which is a Spanish brand of firework. There's a beautiful...
And this is the fireworks down on the water as well that you mentioned, wasn't it, Andy?
Yeah, you're right. Those are the pastel colours down on the water. And look at the waterfall colours, shells. Reds and blues, and then also multicoloured. Really, really clever, really beautiful. We've seen a lot of single colours. We've seen flashing waterfalls. But it's nice seeing the colours like this. And then a load of whistles, I imagine those were...
And hummers as well, did you say you heard at one point, some hummers?
I heard hummers. I love a hummer. I really do love a hummer. And I like a proper hummer. And we heard them in 2 shows last night, and we've now heard them in this show. I imagine the judges are probably very similar. Also, we saw that coloured smoke sequence.
We did.
And that was very special. You didn't know what to look for, and actually you spotted it.
Yeah, well, I mean, also, luckily the weather conditions are almost perfect tonight. It didn't end up blowing away. But the way they were able to execute that, and I suppose one of the things that I noticed is, a layperson, was how there was a lot going on down at the bottom of the breakwater that really complemented the shells that were being fired way up in the sky, whether that be, the smoke, or is it the pillar mines as well?
Yeah, the pillar mines. I've just heard from Anthony Green on the breakwater that Cellstar are very happy with the way that
they
show
should be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, when we saw the smokes, the way that they actually made see the coloured smokes, the red and the blue smoke, was they had silver flashing behind it, like we've talked about with the multi-flash. And do you remember seeing those new colour crossettes?
Yeah, so these were the really special ones, weren't they?
Yeah, the last remaining batch, and they performed really, really well. Towards the end of the show, the last few minutes of it, lit up. Actually, those floating ones that we saw on the water earlier were probably from the same factory as well, but they were all really, really good. And we also saw some ghost shells as well. Ghost shells that create a pattern in the sky, and that pattern kind of moves through the firework and then disappears. It's very, very clever, very difficult. It really takes a lot of time and effort to make each of those stars so that they work in time.
Yeah, well, I suppose when you think about it, a 10-minute display is quite a chunk of time, and to be able to execute a display that's able to keep everybody's attention and and then build into a finale so that you keep the excitement level going up. They certainly did that here, didn't they, with their finale?
Yeah, they did. It was just a wow moment. That was an absolute classic Plymouth finale, probably one of the best that I've seen here for years.
Wow.
It filled the sky so evenly with the golden brocade. We all came away from In fact, I've just got another update.
Yeah, I can tell when it's almost like you go into a psychic trance when you get these updates.
So remember last night we had one water vessel infiltrate the safety zone, and that delayed the competition, and whilst the police got them out. We've got 2 in there at the moment.
Not learned their lesson then.
The harbour master and the police are now escorting them out, so that delays us. They were armed. Team 2, their firing system was armed. Yeah. They're now on hold.
So does that mean they have to unarm their firing system when you have a situation like that?
I think they just keep their finger away from the fire button.
Yeah, so it's very sensible. I mean, especially when you look at some of the fireworks that we saw during that display, how far-reaching they're able to go. I know the 8-inch shells are the largest that we can have here down on the breakwater, but God, they do go some distance when they're done right.
Yeah, they do. They were traveling. There's the smokes there.
The smoke, yes.
Look at the red and the blue, and we've just gone back green in the harbour, so we're back on schedule. So we should be able to launch on time, which is good.
Fabulous. I think we are a couple of minutes away still before we need to introduce the next team, so we're able just to keep looking at this. More colours. And you were saying it's the European fireworks that are really able to bring out a strong colour, which is something that Cellstar have used here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really strong range of different colours there. We've got magenta and fuchsia and orange there, and lots of different colours down below.
I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Cellstar as well were responsible for the opening display at the London Eye on Millennium Eve. So there obviously does seem to be a bit of a reason why they've been winning Champion of Champions events and being invited back to this one, of course, because there's a bit of a history there of high quality performance.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Right, I think we should maybe start getting ready to introduce our second act of the evening, our second team. It's a tough act to follow, certainly. We have had a good start to night 2, but up next for you all is Fully Fused Fireworks. They are from Bedfordshire. Let's hear from them first, and then we'll chat a bit more, Andy, about what we can expect.
Hello, I'm Jack Cottam, the display manager for Fully Fused Fireworks. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. We focus quite a lot on variety and colour. We've got all the crowd favourites in there, the brocades, Comoros, the white multi-flash shells, but also we've got some more unique effects in there as well, such as the swimming star, rings and butterfly shells. So there's something in there for everybody really. Some of the fireworks are not just from China, so we brought them in from other parts around the world, such as Italy. And some of the white multi-flash shells are something to look out for tonight.
There we go. That's what they're saying to look out for. You, of course, have been down and chatted to them, so you've probably got a little bit more intel that you can let everyone watching know what they should keep an eye out for.
Yeah, they've got a team of 8 pyrotechnicians working on the show tonight. 1,076 cues. I think the last show had 2 and quite a lot. I need to check. Was it 4,000 or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They have 810 shells, and they have 402 kilograms or 402.88 kilograms of powder.
So this is a bit on the lighter side then compared to what we've just seen, and also eight team members as well compared to the 15 maximum that you're allowed. So maybe they're going for quality over quantity, perhaps?
Yeah, the previous show was 2,900 cues. This is 1,076. Some of the stuff to look out for: purple and gold, Italian Cumuro, and violet and yellow glitter shells, which is the company logo. They've gone for colours from their logo. They've got blue jellyfish and tangerine crossets, a multicolour sequence with swimming shells, and golden rain with rainbow rings, which we can look out for, and an instant colour tail to report cakes. So these are going to be coloured tails, perhaps red, green and blue, and then they're going to go bang. And lots of bangs, so lots of noise in this one. And then some more sequences: a blue and gold sequence, a colourful butterfly, a white strobe, some mosaic waterfalls, which we'll look out, turquoise and lemon, instant hit, and a finale of silver rain, Cumuro with red. But we're in the count now.
Are we?
6,
Go on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is Fully Fused Fireworks. Well, Andy, a little bit more calm and relaxed, that one, but another lovely finale.
Another great show there tonight. They have Jack has done a great job designing that show. I know Cliff Stonestreet, managing director of Fully Fused, very well. I'm not sure that we saw the winning show though.
No.
No. The show before compared to that one, the amount of European product that was in the show, there was lots of really strong aspects in this display. But also they had a few problems. They had a few fireworks firing quite low, and they also had fireworks firing straight across the breakwater. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, we saw a couple going, right into the water, which is such a shame. And this is one of those things you say you can't account for it. If it happens, it happens. You can't factor that into your designing of the show and the preparations.
And they're currently dealing with a fire out on the breakwater at the moment. And we did say that we saw some smoke coming from Team 3's firing site. So
could that be a case of Team 2, one of their fireworks that we can see here is maybe gone off of an angle that it shouldn't have? It could have hit something on Team 3's display and caused it to set alight? Is that? Yeah,
the problem that Team 2 had is they had some fireworks on the right-hand side that seemed to be firing sideways rather than up into the air. That was firing towards Team 3's site. We also saw there were some quite low breaks on a few of the shells that were happening. But overall, the whole display was really good. Let's talk about some of the great bits.
What were the talking points that you saw?
Okay, so we did see that purple and gold sequence, which is really nice. In the Fully Fused colours, we saw blue jellyfish, and do you remember the tangerine crossettes?
I do remember that. It was nearer the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah, we saw turquoise and orange waterfalls, and they were a different kind of orange, to the tangerine. So that was really nice, different colours there. Sequences of shells, we saw them beautifully firing left to right and right to left, and you could see that pattern going backwards and forwards.
And will that pay off with the judges, trying to plan something like that? Does that fall into the rhythm category?
Yes, it absolutely does. It's the rhythm and the synchronization and the timing will all factor into that. They had some very big shells as well. There was a turquoise ring with a beautiful red strobe pistol. That turquoise was a lovely turquoise. The red was really good. They had some ghost shells. Did you see the big ghost shell?
Yes. Why is it called a ghost shell? Is it the way that it splits apart like that?
So it bursts open like a normal shell bursting, but then it has different timing on all of the actual stars. They're made individually by hand. And it makes a pattern ripple across the shell and backwards and forwards. And when you see one, you look, wow, and look at it. It's really clever, but very hard to make. I've seen them being made in Japan.
Yeah.
And it's a master crafts level of firework manufacture, that.
Wow.
We saw brocade shells with a ring of multicolored stars. That was really nice. We all said wow when that went off. That was lovely. We had gold and blue and a big silver and red finale at the end. But also, it has to be said, and I think we did see this while we did say this while we were watching it, that some of the shells were a lot more basic. Some of the ring shapes, they had a ring shell sequence. Some of the teams have used some really quite exquisite ring shells in this, whereas the ring shells that we saw in Fully Fused display were a little bit more standard, run-of-the-mill kind of products. But it's still a very big display, and Jack and his team of 8 have done really well to put that together today. They actually all had a bit of rain this morning for 30 minutes. Yeah, around about 8 o'clock, which is a really bad time. You're just getting all the equipment and the fireworks out, and you're having to deal with a bit of rain. So that was kind of like a bit of a wild card that they had compared to yesterday's teams.
How much does that hamper the preparation process then, a bit of rain? Does it mean you have to stop preparations completely, cover all the fireworks?
It can delay things. It can cause a bit of a problem. It very much depends on how long it's going on for. They will look at rainfall radar in today's modern times and just be able to see how long that rain is going to go ahead.
Yeah.
The fire is now out.
I was going to say, I could see you were getting sent messages subliminally or otherwise. So the fire's out, which is a positive.
Yeah, the fire is out, and also we've had a green light from the King's Harbour Master. We are clear of all the boats. Isn't this just such a fantastic location for a fireworks competition? We've got the natural amphitheatre with so many boats all around.
I did want to ask, how does Plymouth Sound play into, how does it affect the sound and the vision that we see here compared to firework events in other parts of the country and the world?
This is the best place, in my view, because we've got land all around here and everything echoes off and people can watch from the sidelines and everything. Over 9 million brought into the local economy through publicity, and also people coming to the Plymouth hotels and restaurants to come and watch the Firework Championships. Yeah, I think it's the very best location. There are other competitions around the world, but Plymouth is the number one for me.
Yeah, well, there's certainly a reason that it has been hosted. The British Firework Championships have been hosted here since 1997. You can see why. I tell you another fun fact that I learned the other day, which was always something that I'd been wondering, like the environmental impact of fireworks. And I read a sustainability report by, I think it's a Celtic Firework Company, who was saying one display here in Plymouth is the equivalent of one seat on a London to New York flight, which actually, I don't know, I just always thought with the explosions and the smoke and everything like that, it would be a lot more. But I know there's a real push to make firework displays more environmentally friendly year on year, isn't there?
With this being the Ocean City, we have really strict rules about use of plastics in the displays so that we're not putting anything back into the sea or into the environment. But you're absolutely right. For an event like this, and let's face it, this could be a British Grand Prix, this could be racing, this could be anything, or a big concert on the Hoe. But for an event like this, it's the attendance of people coming to it that it has the environmental impact compared to the fireworks, which are very much a dot in the ocean.
Well, it's certainly a crowd pleaser, and we have got another crowd pleaser for you. It will be our final display of tonight and the whole competition. It's First Galaxy Fireworks. Let's hear from them about what you can expect.
Hi, Neil from Galaxy Fireworks, winners in 2019. I'm back here today to put on a really good show for you guys. We're going to start with a nice punchy Italian section, and then we're going to go into a high impact rhythm display. We've got a nice section of strobe colour waterfall shells included in there, and a really loud finish. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. Thank you.
Well, they are from Nottingham, as they said, 2019 winners there. Founded back in 1985, and they do over 400 displays annually. So, again, just one of many that they're putting on, but I think they are really going to kick this one out, aren't they, at the end of the night?
Yeah, we've had an update from Anthony Green on the breakwater. We're into the 2-minute countdown at the moment. But, yeah, they've got 15 crew over there, over 1,300 single-shot fireworks. They are starting with some punchy Sampio mines in Lemon and Siren.
And this is the Italian section.
Yeah, absolutely. They got a pastel crossette section, a feeling of finesse and timing, is what they told me. Some Italian Vaculuzzo multi-break cylinder shells, fast-paced crackle multi-layer section, strobe waterfall sequence in 5 different coloured strobes, and that falls slowly, almost to the ground. And the finale is brocade with a twist.
All right, we like a twist.
I don't know what the twist is, but we're going to have a look. We have to look out for that brocade, the classic Plymouth brocade finale, and just find out what that twist is going to be.
Well, it won't be very long until we find out, is it? We are rapidly approaching the countdown timer now. I do have to say, for everyone that's watching here live on the Hoe, the Brittany Ferry is just going past. So, I mean, imagine that for best seat in the house as you go past the firework display.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I went out there earlier, I saw the 2 shows, and there were 2 large shows. This is a big one. That first one won. But we're in the countdown. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is First Galaxy Fireworks. Well, there we go. It's all over. All 6 teams have fired. Our final one, first Galaxy Fireworks. You said there would be a finale with a twist, and the twist was?
Well, we had the brocade, didn't we? We had the big golden trails, and it looked like red, white, and blue to me. Red and silver strobe with blue stars. Absolutely filled the sky, and then they had the noise at the end. Lots of bangs. And then did you see the flashes along the railing down at ground level? Really making the loudest noise that we can make here at the competition.
Yeah, certainly emphasising, you know, like you were saying earlier, the use of the soundscape here in Plymouth Sound, making the most of it with those bangs there. And they were also implementing elements that were all operating at quite a low level. You know, we're used to seeing shells up in the sky as well as down low, and there was a nice section later on to the middle where it all just happened quite near the water.
Yeah, so we can see here lots of coloured comets, and the pace, they use speed here, and they used it a few times in their display, and things got faster and faster as they went through. Just before that, we had the lemon and the sirens, and here's a little bit uneven. Can you see the shell firing off on the right, but nothing on the left?
So do you think this may have had something to do with the fire that was down on the breakwater earlier?
Yes, it possibly could have been. We noticed a couple of points during this display where there were little things. It didn't look like perhaps every ground site was firing at all times. Just on rare occasions, and like we had these shells firing on the right. That can be due to a number of different reasons. It could be that a firework's not being plugged in correctly. It could be that an igniter is faulty. It could be that another competitor has fired their firework mistake. We've had that in the competition. It could be a firing system issue. We don't really know. All of the teams tonight are using different firing systems. Team 1, Cellstar, used Cobra, fully fused. Team 2 used the Fire 1 firing system, and this team that we've just seen, First Galaxy, they've used the MLE fire-by-wire firing system.
Okay, I've heard of Cobra before. I think we had a team using that yesterday, and also the second team were using a similar firing system to someone yesterday as well. Is that right?
Yeah, Cobra's really good system. It uses wireless frequencies, so there's no cables to put out, and all of the units communicate with each other, so there's a bit of a chain. Look at those sequencing backwards and forwards, and then a big shell with a tail going high up there into the sky. We got red and green shells. There was a very intense single shell partway through. But also, do you remember the 5 different coloured strobe waterfalls that we saw? We had some bright different.
What colours did we have in that?
Say again?
Did you say 5 colours?
Yeah, there were 5. 4 of them were strobing. One of them wasn't.
Oh, yes, of course. It was the blue one on the end that wasn't strobing, yes.
Yeah, that's it. And then we also had a red strobe waterfall and green falling leaf sequence, gold comet and waterfall sequence, which was really delicate and really beautiful. They executed that extremely well. Silver strobe and red, and then the fantastic brocade crown and red, white, and blue with all those salute sequences. There's a nice ring shell.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see how each team approaches and the different kinds of fireworks. We've seen lots of ring shells, for example. There's a little ring pistol, we call the pistol being the center. I mean, that red and blue shells were kind of almost going off like flowers. Look at some of the low bursts that we saw in this display, and actually some of the stars were coming right down to water level.
Yeah, I think that's an area that certainly caught my attention with this one. And this display, of course, will be, you know, the parting vision of the 2025 British Firework Championships. I wanted to ask you, is there much of an advantage to being the last team to fire at a competition like this?
No. The simple answer to that is no. There is a very strict judging regime. Jim Winship from the Event Services Association, who are running the competition, Jim is overseeing the judging panel, who are over at Tinside Lido, and it's a fair system. But you know what, Erin? There's certainly a psychological advantage of being the last team to fire on the second night. Yeah.
I imagine it must feel quite good when you... Well, how are they drawn? How is the order selected?
They're drawn by the judge.
Okay.
Sorry, not by the judge, by the mayor. They're drawn by the mayor.
Is this like a names out of a hat scenario?
It's filmed just so that everybody can see that it's done fairly. And also the firing order is also drawn as well at the same time. But the firing order is kept secret for a short while because we don't want teams to think that they've got a competitive advantage by being the last one to fire. So they really have to create their shows and submit them before they know where they're going to fire.
Oh, I see. I do want to ask, now that we have seen all of the displays, and of course for everybody who is watching at home, do let us know in the comments which one was your favourite, whether it was 1 to 6, of course, if you saw the 3 yesterday as well. We would love to see that. But Andy, do you have a favourite, or do you have to keep your cards close to your chest until the winner is announced?
I do normally keep my cards close to my chest. I always have done in previous years, but I think there was one display that really stood out.
Okay. You're not going to say who it is.
What do you think?
I think I would be inclined to agree with you. I think I know who my favourite is, but I suppose we probably should say impartial until the winner is announced.
Yes.
And it won't be very long until that happens. But that is it from us here on the stage on Plymouth Hoe. 6 teams, 6 spectacular displays. Only one of them, of course, can win. And we do have to get off the stage so we can go and find out the winner. So before that, we just need to say a big thank you to everyone that has been part of this. Thank you to our sponsors and our partners. Thank you to everyone here who's been watching, everyone at home. Of course, our fantastic BSL interpreters on stage and the crew. And of course, Andy, a huge thank you to you for all of your expertise. I hope you have enjoyed it once again.
Absolutely pleasure. Always fun. Best fireworks competition in the country.
Excellent. Well, there will be a lot of nervous teams down on the breakwater right now, and they'll be eager to find out who the champion of champions is, as will you. You can find out tomorrow at 10 a.m. It will be announced to the public, so do keep your eyes peeled for that. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Good night.